Sullivan in a horrible spot, and Sampson in a horrible spot, and at times Caravan in a horrible spot. To be one-on-one with a giant close to the basket, but there's no way they were going to be able to beat us, just by giving up just those twos in the paint.
Dan, a year ago, almost to the day, you stood in Hartford and said, "Now we're in the mix for 6." In the back of your mind, did you think it'd be next year? You know what I mean?
I think at that time, knowing how much we were losing, I think that was probably more bravado. And just something that the fans needed to hear, that day to fire everybody up. And I think when we saw how good Cam Spencer was, and when we saw how good Steph Castle was when they got on campus for summer workouts, I think we started to have a belief that we would be in the mix for 6.
So what's the line this year?
I already know. I think it's Providence to Newark to San Antonio. I think it's the East region, and we're I'm not like that deep into it right now, but I'm aware.
You don't have a rhyme with 7 yet.
What's that?
You don't have a rhyme for 7 yet.
No, I'll have that ready for the parade, though. Yeah, I'll have that ready for the parade.
When you think that way, Dan, are you able to enjoy it?
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy this one. I'm going to enjoy it tonight. Tonight. I'll be hammered on the morning shows. God knows what I'm going to say. It better be a 5-second delay. But this will wear out. This will wear out. In a couple of days, and then but we'll be doing visits, I'm sure, later in the week with portal guys and meeting with players. Obviously, we got the NBA draft. Players that are likely to do that. We will really, as this week starts to wind down into the weekend, I think we're probably going to go into next year mode pretty quick, and then and then intermittently enjoy it.
I mean, last year, there were conversations about things like validation and stuff that you were kind of, just knocking around in the head a little bit. And this year, what is kind of between the ears a little bit on what it means for larger stuff?
Yeah, I think just for the sport in general, I think you could still win with culture. You could still win with old school values. There's still enough NBA level talented players with great families that you could still win with culture and old school values, and obviously modern basketball too mixed in. So for me, NIL portal, all the stuff, it hasn't ruined it hasn't ruined people's chances of having just great teams.
When you bring in guys like Haas and Tristan, I'm sure you promise when you talk about winning national titles together, but two for them, I mean, could it have gone any better for those guys?
Oh, I think we laid it out. We laid it out for Cam Spencer. Hey Cam, if you don't join us, we're a top 10, top 15 team. If you do join us, we could go back to back, and the road will be Brooklyn, the Boston, the Phoenix to get there. If we both hold up our end of the bargain, and then I always add up at the end. You don't got to worry about me on that. I'll hold up my end. Don't screw it up.
Can you give us the cliff notes of what your wife may say if you told her you were moving to Kentucky?
Oh my God, Kentucky or anywhere that's going to take her further from New Jersey. I mean, we just went to Rhode Island, which I had to drag her to, and then to Connecticut. I got her closer and now further. I can't afford a divorce right now, too. I just started making money.
Is there seriously though something to be said for knowing who you are and where you're from, and you'd probably need a translator down there to interact?
I mean, the last thing I'm thinking about is another place. I mean, we're in a position right now to be, back to back, in an era that makes it kind of tough to do it, and now you're thinking in your brain, as I'm looking at the locker room, about the chance to do it 3 times, like a dynasty in modern times. I mean, that's what I'm thinking about.
Dan, 30 years, you were open 30 years ago about the struggles you faced as a player, and you mentioned your life changed when you realized you weren't going to have a pro career. When you look at yourself in the mirror now, how proud do you think 21-year-old Danny would be of yourself right now?
Yeah, that's great, man. He would recognize this. just the people along the way. It just helped me get here. You know, my wife, obviously, my 2 sons, and then Sister Catherine and Father Edwin Leahy and Benedict's changed me so much. At a critical time, yeah, I think it's a great story, man. I just took my whole path in coaching, doing it at the high school level, and low Division I, mid Division I, really having to perfect my craft to take the next step. The journey, man, is the shit. I mean, it really is. That this thing will fade fast, and then the best part is going to be when we get back to work and start going for a three-peat.
How instrumental was George in getting you to fall in love with the game all over again?
Yeah, I was done with basketball until Coach Blaney came. I would have been in a much better place for PJ, but Coach Blaney just he showed me a lot of love. Back then there weren't a lot of holistic coaches. It was like you saw him in practice from 3 to 6, then you didn't see him again. And he taught me that you could build great relationships, and that you need to build great relationships with your players and help them develop as people. And that I wouldn't be in coaching. I was done with basketball if he didn't come into my life.
Coach Calhoun said after the game that a couple years ago, early in your tenure at UConn, he sort of read you the riot act of it about, you're too good, you're too smart not to be at this level.
You mean he ripped my ass?
I mean,
Yeah.
that was his words, riot act, but I'll take that.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you could sort of walk us through maybe what the ass ripping was
Yeah.
and sort of how you implemented it and some advice from that.
I mean, I had cold feet. I really wanted to. I was trying to find a way to stay at Rhode Island. I was looking for an excuse to not go because I fell in love with Rhodey. So I took the job, and I had a little bit of buyer's remorse because the first workout was a disaster, and I just couldn't believe how bad it was in terms of just how everyone was playing, and then just everything was kind of not in a great shape. So at the end of day 2, I went into coach's office and said, hey coach, this is bull. You know what? Nothing's in place. This is UConn. Where's the infrastructure? What's been going on here? What the hell? And he just are you shitting me? You're not the person that we probably should have hired. If you ever come in here like this again, I'll never talk. I mean, it was bad. I mean, he ripped me, and Tom Moore was on the outside of the office. I just flew out of there and called Dave Benedict and said, we gotta get this shit fixed. And that was a moment though, because I called my agent before I went in there with Coach and asked him, if I could go back to Rhode Island. And he explained the buyout thing to me, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm here.
How much was that a motivator for you?
It was. I mean, just to have Gino and Coach Calhoun, to help. I think Gino's helped me, kind of still working on those rough edges, but he's helped me kind of iron out some of those, just in terms of how I handle things. And then just Coach Calhoun from a standpoint of how to build that championship mentality and what you got to instill in your team to be at your best in March. Just to have those 2 people in my life that are at my disposal all the time. Most coaches don't have that.
How long did it take Calhoun to not even warm up to you after that, but accept you after that?
Well, I think the problem that some coaches, when they take the jobs, they feel, they feel threatened or they're insecure about, they want it to be their show. And for me, I've just always been smart enough to know that, I'm not the coach. I'm going to be a better coach next year. That you have to use all your resources. And one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. He's on Mount Rushmore of greatest college coaches of all time. I'd be the biggest idiot in the world not to embrace him, learn everything I can from him. He built this thing. He's the patriarch. I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for him.
Coach, what Whitney Houston song are you singing or hearing listening to tonight?
One moment in time. I'm going to go in, I'm going to crawl into my room. I'm going to collapse on the ground, and that's kind of what me and my wife do. Because the words are very fitting in that song. I know it's you guys are looking at me, the men in here are looking at me when you listen to Whitney Houston, but it's just a perfect song when you win a big game, and the words move me. they'll cry.
So we had your son on earlier. We asked him what
He said
song.
that too, by the way?
No, he actually did not. So
He's
he
such a rat.
But listen to this. So, well, your wife couldn't tell me the song. I asked her that after the game. What song would best describe you? You and your brother. He actually said it. What song would it be, Coach?
That's fine. That's brutal. You really? I don't know, man. Welcome to the jungle. You're both complete maniacs, man.
Now it was Tom Petty who won't back down.
Won't back down. You know what though? I played that in a pregame stretch one time when I was at Rhodey right before we played LaSalle at home. They played it during the stretch. We lost by like 25. So I won't listen to that before a game, but I do see what you're saying.
Again, you told me the other day that you, after a big win, find some time to say a prayer. Have you had that opportunity tonight, and are you going to do that?
Not yet. As soon as I get out of this, into that locker room right there, I'm going to spend 5 minutes with my Lord, and I'm going to thank Him. Thank Him for everything, all the blessings, and I think about all the people, that lost along the way, who are in heaven with my Lord, and have given me the strength, and I know how proud they are of everything we've been able to do.
And Coach, in your dad's Hall of Fame speech, if you remember, 14 years ago, he was beaming about you taking the job at Wagner and bringing Bobby along. And
Yeah.
You ever look back on that moment, and how influential has he been over these 14 years for you all?
Yeah, I mean, he's taught me everything about the game. He's one of the true masters of coaching. He's as good as anyone that's coached in the last 50 years during his generation. So obviously he taught us everything we needed to know. And just to be able to have him at this point in his life, be at these shoot-arounds, be at these press conferences, be on the bus, be around the boys. It's just such a special time. Obviously, we reflect what he would have been like out here. He'd be winning these things if he made this move.
For